Good morning, dear student. I'm Kunal Kiran from the Millennium School, Lucknow. We have been discussing Chapter 4, Journal. Yesterday, we have discussed about what is journal, what is the objective, what is the need, what are the advantages, as well as characteristic of journal. We have also discussed what is the rule of debit and credit. Quickly, I would like to recap the rule of debit and credit under traditional or conventional method, which is also known as English or British method. So, under the traditional method, we classify accounts in three categories: personal account, real account, and nominal account. Personal account is related to person. There are three types of personal account: natural person, that is normal human being; artificial person, like institutions, LIC, bank, trust, school, etc., and representative personal account, salary outstanding, prepaid rent account. These are the accounts which represent a person. As yesterday I have told you, salary outstanding represent an employee who has provided services to the business but not yet paid to salary to him. And the rule for personal account is debit the receiver and credit the giver. Real account is related to assets or property of the business. There are two types of real account: tangible real account and intangible real account. Tangible means those assets which are having physical existence, like cash, machinery, building, furniture, etc. Intangible real account, those who are not having any physical existence, like patent, goodwill, copyrights, etc. And the rule for real account is debit the and the rule for real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Third category is nominal account. Nominal account is related to expenses, losses, income and gains. Expenses such as salary, purchases, etc. Losses, bad debts, depreciation. Income such as interest received, discount received, sales, etc. And the rule for nominal account is debit all expenses and credit all income and gains. So this is yesterday we have discussed. Apart from this debit, I have also explained you personal account rule. Debit the receiver. Receiver means any person who receives goods, cash, assets, benefit or losses from the business, that person account should be debited. The same way, credit the giver means any person gives anything to the business, such as goods, cash, assets, benefit or losses to the business, his account should be credited. So this was yesterday discussion. Apart from this, I again recapitulate what debit real account. Debit what comes in means whenever business acquire any asset or there is any increase in value of asset, that should be debited. Credit what goes out means whenever business loses its asset or any asset of the business going out from the business or decrease in the value of any asset, then that asset should be credited. This is an explanation of real account rule. Now come to the point. Today's our discussion is all about steps in generalizing. How will you generalize? What are the steps you will take while you generalize? So first of all, whenever you see the transaction, like I'm giving you example, suppose there is a transaction. Siaram and Sons started business with cash. This is a transaction. So whenever you journalize the transaction, the first step is it is essential to analyze a transaction in order to determine the two accounts which are affected. There can be more than two, it could be possible. So whenever the first step in generalizing, first you analyze the transaction and decide what are the accounts are involved, right? Then on the basis of rule of generalizing, you will decide whether it should be debited or credited. It is second point is, it is not necessary to use the word account or account after the personal account. Personal account, if any person is involved in the transaction, you will debit or credit his account, but without writing account or abbreviation of A/C. It is a custom actually which is followed. So after personal account, you don't write account. Third is, after every journal entry, a line should be drawn in particular column so that each entry is separated from the preceding one. We will see. And at the end of each page, both the debit and credit column are totaled up just in front of each other. These total must be equal because the amount debited in each entry equals the amount credited. These totals are carried forward to the next page progressively up to the end of accounting period. For this purpose, the word carried forward or C/F are written in particular column at the end of each page, and the word brought forward or B/F are written in the start of each page. So B/F is an abbreviation of brought forward, and C/F is an abbreviation or short form of carried forward. So this is just to explain you what are the steps you will take. In simple word, whenever you want to journalize the transaction, you want to record the transaction in the books of account, first of all, read the transaction, analyze it, what are the accounts are involved, then decide what is the nature of those accounts, and you will use the rules of debit and credit to decide whether that account should be debited or credited. So we will see, before we start solving question, there is some concept related to goods. Although I have aptly discussed at the time of accounting terms, but now it is from the accounting point of view, recording point of view, there is some more explanation is needed about goods. So whenever we talk about goods in accounts, we are not opening any goods account. We will record goods on the basis of nature of goods. So goods, what is goods is, goods are those things which are purchased for resale purpose, or you can say that we treat goods, those are articles or items for which business deals. Business is dealing in which items and articles that are treated as goods. Suppose, for example, if I am selling furnitures, then furniture is goods for me, right? And if we are selling ready-made garments, so if I am purchasing ready-made garments, then they are goods for me. And I am dealing with the ready-made garments and we are purchasing furniture, then furniture is not a goods, that is an asset for me, right? So goods are something in which business deals. So whenever goods are purchased for resale purpose, either on cash basis or credit basis, that is known as purchase account. We will record that goods as purchase account. Nature of purchase account is nominal account, and it is expenses for the business. Rule of nominal account I have just now discussed, that debit all expenses and losses, credit all income and gains. So purchase account will be debited, right? So whenever business purchase goods for resale purpose, either on cash basis or credit basis, that is recorded as in purchase account. And purchase nature of purchase account is nominal account, and it is the expenses for the business, so it should be debited, right? When suppose if you have purchased goods from the supplier, but that goods are defective in nature or some quality inferior in quality, that goods, if your goods return to the supplier due to defective or any other reason, that goods are represented as purchase return account or return outwards account. So purchase was treated as a expenses, so purchase return is a decrease in expenses. Decrease in expenses, in other words, we can say it's a gain for the business, because expenses is a loss for the business. The same way, if your expenses is decreasing, it should be treated as a gain for the business. And purchase return, nature of purchase return account is nominal account, and the rule for nominal account is debit all expenses and credit all income or gains. So purchase return is a gain of the business, gain for the business, so it should be credited, right? Now when those goods which were purchased for resale purpose sold to the customer for cash or credit basis, so that goods, whenever you are selling goods, that goods are recorded as sales account. The nature of sales account is nominal account, and it is an income for the business, so it should be credited. Right? The rule of nominal account: debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So sales is a income for the business, so it should be credited. Now suppose your customer return to you some goods what you have sold to your customer. He returned goods to you due to some defective quality or some other reason, so that goods are treated as sales return account or return inward account. So sales is a income, so sales return is a decrease in income, or in other words we can say it's a loss. So because sales we have treated as an income for the business, sales return it will decrease our income, and definitely it is a loss. So it's a nature of this account is nominal account, and rule of nominal account is debit all expenses and losses, credit all income and gains. So sales return, because it's a loss, so it should be debited, right? So this is all about the goods. Whenever the transactions related to goods, we will deal and we will decide. Cash purchase means whenever you purchase goods and you made payment. Credit purchase means when you have purchased goods but not yet made payment to them. And cash sale is whenever you sold goods and you have received the payment from the customer. Credit sales means whenever you sold the goods to the customer but your customer has not yet paid. Those goods which were purchased for resale purpose remain unsold at the end of the year. They are treated as stock. Stock is current asset. It's a real account. Unsold stock at the beginning is known as opening stock, and unsold stock goods at the end is known as closing stock. Okay, that's all about the goods. Apart from this, there is some important consideration for determining cash and credit transaction. How will you decide whether cash purchase or sales purchase, cash purchase? How would you able to determine that whether goods sold is cash sale or credit sale, whether you have purchased goods on cash or credit. These some points you should keep in your mind. The first point says if a transaction relates to sales or purchases of goods giving the name of the seller or purchaser and it is not stated that cash is transacted, it is accounted as credit transaction. Means whenever you are selling goods or purchasing goods and the name of seller or purchaser is given but cash word is not mentioned in that transaction, it is treated as credit transaction. For example, they have given sold goods to Mohan. So in this transaction there is no cash is mentioned, so only excuse me, only sold goods sold to Mohan. There are two accounts are involved: goods sold, that is sales account, and Mohan, that is supplier, right? So there is no cash is mentioned in this transaction, so it should be treated as credit sales, right? Another is in the same way I can say that goods purchased from Mohan. There can be example goods purchased from Mohan. So two accounts are involved: goods purchase, that is purchase account, and the Mohan, who is the supplier of goods. So cash is not mentioned in the transaction, so we will assume that cash was not paid, or like this here: goods sold to Mohan. Mohan is a customer, and goods sold, that is sales account. Two accounts are involved in this transaction: sales account and Mohan. Mohan is a customer, personal account. Mohan is the receiver of goods, so he should be debited. And sales account, sales is a nominal, nature of the sales account is nominal account. Debit all expenses, credit all income. Sales is an income for the business, so it should be credited, right? Another point of consideration is, while you are generalizing the transaction, if a transaction relates to sales or purchases giving the name of the seller or purchaser stating that cash is transacted, it is accounted as a cash transaction. For example, goods sold to Mohan for cash. In this transaction, the example they have given, goods sold to Mohan for cash. In this transaction, if you determine what are the accounts are involved, there are three accounts are involved: goods sold, Mohan, and cash. But since cash has been paid to the cash has been received from the Mohan is a customer, we have received cash from him, then Mohan has no relevant for me to record. So we have a relevant account which we should record in our books of account is sold goods, that is sales account, and cash, which is which we have received from Mohan. So we will decide the nature of a sales account. The nature of sales account is a nominal account, and we will debit or credit as per the rule. And cash is a real account, we will debit or credit as per the rule. Now third consideration is, if a transaction related to sales or purchases and the name of the seller or purchaser is not given, it is accounted as cash transaction. Suppose there is any transaction. Suppose the example they have given, I just take example: goods sold for rupees 10,000. Goods sold for rupees 10,000. In this transaction, neither they have mentioned cash nor they mentioned the customer's name. So in this case, we assume that this is a cash sale and we have received the cash of rupees 10,000. So the general rule is that when in the transaction of sales or purchase, supplier or seller customer's name is not mentioned, cash is also not mentioned, so we will assume that is a cash sale or cash purchase, and we will treat accordingly. Now next point of consideration about expenses. In expenses account, even if the name of the party receiving or making payment is given, it is accounted as expenses incurred in cash. Personal account of the person receiving the amount is not debited. For example, if a salary of rupees 5,000 is paid to Ranjan, this is a transaction. Transaction is a salary of rupees 5,000 paid to Ranjan. So in this transaction, three accounts are involved: salary as an expense, cash 5,000 rupees, and Ranjan, who has received the cash. So for recording point of view, we have only two accounts are relevant, that is salary is an expense for the business, and the same time cash is important for us. Ranjan is no more relevance for me, because as an employee we have paid salary to him, we are no more relationship. So from the accounting point of view, so we will record only two accounts in this transaction: salary and cash. So that they have mentioning when cash is received or paid, if the person who is giving that cash or who is receiving that cash, we will ignore, we will not record the personal account. This is the fourth consideration. Now the last one is introduction of capital in the business by the proprietor is credited to his or her capital account, whereas withdrawal of cash or goods for his or her personal use is debited to drawings. We have discussed at the time of accounting terms capital. Capital is an amount or anything which is invested by the owner into his own business is treated as capital. In accounts, when we are recording the transaction in the books of business, we do not write the name of the owner. We Whenever owner gives anything to the business, we record the name of account as capital account. Whenever owner or proprietor of the business withdraws anything from the business, he will be recorded as drawings. We do not use the name of the owner in the books of account, right? So that they have mentioned